feed. It loves my past. It's always taunting, but somehow out of grasp. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. It talks to me, it holds my hand, it showers me with things I can't understand. It has no reason, it knows no time, it's constantly watching, so it's not left behind. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. You 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 know I'll never be the same again. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. 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 I know I'll never be the same again.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro Jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
DJ Anubis.
And DJ Neko.
Here with you on the Military Radio Podcast with a new episode of Global Unscripted, where we basically sit down and talk a little bit about internet drama, world events, seriousness, all sorts of weird things that go on. And right now there's
conspiracy theories.
Yep. We have like also our own unsolved mysteries sometimes that we will talk about, because we have a topic later that's a bit of an interesting unsolved mystery itself.
I mean, you have to ask DJ Anubis every night. I'm watching Dateline. There's a Dateline channel.
Much so, one night she was watching it, and I was watching what was going on, and it was kind of low, but like I could hear enough, and I was like, okay, so they think that the husband killed somebody, but then like, or I forget what was, somebody got killed, but then like, his wife got attacked and she got shot in the head, and they thought it was a robber. So then they found the husband had an affair, but then like the daughters didn't believe the husband would commit the crime, but they found other evidence that proved they put a hitman on her. So like, it was really crazy. Because the father was just on, they were interviewing the father too, and he was just talking normal, like, yeah, I didn't really do it. I didn't do it.
I didn't do anything.
But so I came downstairs because I was going to go to sleep, but I wanted to figure out what the fucking ending was. I was tired of waiting for the show to fucking end. But yeah, the guy went to prison, and the kids had a strained relationship with the mother for a little while, but then they worked it out. But
so the mother put the hit?
No, the father did, but the mother, like, because she believed it. Now she survived it because like she lost her eye in the process, but they shot her in the head. But she
Holy
survived.
Shit!
Yeah, but obviously once she found out that he had an affair, and then the hit, like they discovered letters or something. because he had been talking to guys, like different guys, for a while about trying to kill her.
We should just do like an old Dateline wrap-up show. Like,
oh yeah, there's plenty of shit there. But obviously, the first thing we've got is the Sydney Sweeney ad debacle.
Controversy.
Yeah, so it's not shocking nowadays when you have, something that pops up on social media whether it's celebrities or athletes or actors or even, whoever, YouTube content creators, where something happens and then people start freaking out and they start labeling you something. So the minute that Sydney did this with this ad, obviously there's a play on like her genes as a beauty.
Her genetic genes.
Right. As well as the genes for American Eagle. But immediately there's a portion of people in the world that said, oh, it's racism.
Why is it racism?
Because she's white, she's pretty, and even though they've had black models do the same
and they've
type
had
of
like
commercials over
people
the years,
of all sizes.
correct. But just because it's Sydney, everyone
And
loses
she's
their
gorgeous.
shit.
And what did I say when you were playing that ad? I said I want to go to American Eagle and buy some jeans.
I'm like, yeah, she's hot. There's just no getting around it. But if you would have put Beyonce in that, I would have said if she's hot.
I swear to God, I think Beyonce has done American Eagle. There have been lots of people of all sizes modeling for American Eagle over the last. So can't we just?
It's a nothing burger.
It really is.
But anyway, we're gonna
over
kind of talk a little bit about a video from one of our more favorite people that we watch, Shoe One Head. So she's asking, why do we have the war on women regarding the Sydney Sweeney stuff? So let's see what she's got to say.
All right, let's see.
Been living under a rock. You probably haven't heard that Sydney Sweeney was in an American Eagle commercial.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
Get it? Genes? Because she's attractive? And she is. I can see why men like her. She has a really cute face and a nice body. But personally, my favorite thing about Sydney Sweeney is that she's a Nazi. Did they mean to include a bunch of Nazi dog whistles in this? How the did she agree to this? Actual Nazi ad. The only way Sydney Sweeney would be okay with doing an ad like
Yeah, that's basically what it came down, because people.
Why is she a Nazi? I don't understand.
Because she's white and she's talking about good genes, and so apparently her saying that makes people of color and other people uncomfortable. They're insecure about themselves.
So she's like Aryan Nation now or something?
Well, get worse, because apparently her parents are MAGA, Trump supporters. So that makes it worse. So, I mean, of course, if this is Pelosi or somebody, they wouldn't be saying that. Well, then again, it's the left. Maybe they would, because they would eat their own. But we're not even conservative people, but we can see the hypocrisy that comes from the left so much on this shit.
this as if she was a Nazi.
This is Nazi shit.
What's Nazi shit? I don't understand.
Stop the ad! That is being racist!
Some of you guys might be too young to remember, but back in the day when an ugly girl was jealous of a pretty girl, she would simply call her a whore. But that's a good thing now, so we have to call her racist. I am going to be completely honest, I have no idea what movies Sydney Sweeney is in. All I know, she is a very popular celebrity, and I always see discourse on Twitter about her being mid. What is wrong with you people? Who is not mid nowadays? I saw Anne Hathaway get called mid the other day. Anne Hathaway. If these women are mid, I'm like a sub-zero. I'm like a -2. I am like a horseshoe crab on the bottom of the ocean. Horseshoe crabs are pretty basic though. 445 million years, no evolution. Yeah. That's me.
I'm like,
millions of years on YouTube, no evolution. Sydney Sweeney has like a fun, bubbly personality.
You want a small finger? I should have got that clip for today.
She seems like she enjoys being feminine, and it seems like she doesn't hate men, which is a big plus. She really plays into the...
Which reminds me, so you remember back in the day, I can't remember who the celebrity was or the actress, but they did that whole, like, the burger thing and then dripped into her cleavage. So is that considered racist too if she's eating a burger and it drops in her cleavage, or is that just sexist?
Or is that just like sexy?
Well, it's sexy, of course. That's the whole fucking point.
Like, I'm a hot blonde bombshell. I have big titties thing, which, are we back to liking titties as a society? Didn't Kim Kardashian deflate her ass recently? That's how I knew the ass fad was over. The fall of Kim Kardashian's ass and the rise of Sydney Sweeney. Besides, ass, titties, no, I don't objectify women. I respect women, okay? The only thing that matters to me is a woman's mind. And thighs. What is like the male body equivalent to this debate? Abs or arms? Personally, I love a good forearm. I love a good, nice, thick, manly wrist. And you know what looks great on a wrist? A watch. Which brings us to today's sponsor, Holtzkern. So let's quickly give them a shout out before we get into today's video, shall we?
Yes.
Holtzkern is a young Austrian company that creates unique watches, jewelry, and accessories using all natural materials like wood and stone. Their high-quality timepieces come in various designs for both men and women.
Wigs.
I know, she's very creative. How can she get me hooked up with this sponsor? I want to sponsor this.
Look at those nice watches.
That's crazy.
Apparently,
looks like the Death Star.
It does kind of. Apparently, Shuon head doesn't have a lot of hair. So she has alopecia. So that's why
really?
she wears a lot of wigs. Now, I could be wrong. You know how the internet is. But I Googled that one time, like, does Shuon head wear wigs? Because I always noticed, like, her hair looks, like, too perfect all the time. And it doesn't frizz. And it, like...
It's possible.
Like,
I mean, and I know she's, like, I think she's married. And then... the only thing I'm not entirely certain about, although a lot of people say she's very much into communism. So
she's into communism?
Yeah. So it's really weird though, because she has a way, but see, this is sort of why I kind of appreciate her, because despite her political position,
and she
doesn't mind shitting on everybody. Like, she's like asthma. She will shit on anybody. It doesn't matter what political party they are, or what sex, or what color. She's an equal opportunity hater, and I love that because I'm an equal opportunity hater.
You're not a hater. You're so full of cuddles and love.
No, I'm not. You should know by now my private rants when I talk to myself about how much I hate the fucking world.
You and your rants.
Making them the perfect choice for any style or occasion.
Beautiful.
All of Holtzkern's products are manufactured in small quantities to ensure responsible and ethical production, while making sure each item is built to last.
$600.
I personally love the kaleidoscope watch with the little flower design on the pearl dial. I think it is so beautiful and so cute. I'm obsessed with it. The glass is made of sapphire crystal, making it to get 15%.
Gotta get to your ad. Here we go.
Sounds like I shit my pants.
The woke outrage over Sydney Sweeney's ad has gone from, well, bad to worse.
Some people have taken issue with the phrase great genes being used over images of a blonde, blue-eyed woman.
If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
TikTok and Twitter absolutely blew up with thousands and thousands of people calling this ad fascist propaganda. Yes, they literally took the jeans and jeans pun to be some kind of Nazi dog whistle, because Sydney Sweeney is an attractive blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman, which apparently has been an extinct species for so long in advertisement that when people saw this, they got scared and thought they saw the ghost of Hitler. Is Sydney Sweeney a Nazi?
Real fast.
No. But do these people...
Don't you remember, like, I know us growing up in the 90s, you were, you know, an adult by then, but think of all the ads, like, even in the 80s too, where you had, like, Anna Nicole Smith and her jeans, and you had like Cindy Crawford.
Crawford
and
is huge. Yeah.
Oh God, I'm blanking on all the supermodels now, like Tyra Banks. They all were in every ad.
Yep.
And I think,
dude, Victoria's Secret for many years was using a lot of. In fact, what was it back then? They were talking about like, well, they're anorexic, like they're unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went with the plus size, and now everyone's like, yeah, but no one wants to see that.
Yeah, we don't want to see that. And then it's like body positivity. And again, I am for body positivity, and I'm for people, like, because everybody looks different. Not everybody is the same size. So you have to equate that with, like, you can have Sydney Sweeney, and you can also have your plus size models, because this is American Eagle has used plus-sized models. It's the truth. They really have. Are you looking it up?
I'm just curious about something.
They really have. This is not like it's not like they're attacking other people who are not blonde and blue-eyed and attractive. They've used all types of models. So I feel like them putting a spotlight on Sydney Sweeney is worse, right? Like, am I making sense? Like, it would be like if you had a larger size, plus size model, and then everybody being like, oh, she's too fat. Well, now you're saying, oh, Sydney Sweeney is too pretty, and they're saying she has great genes, so now she's, Aryan. It's Aryan bloodlines, or
yeah.
What are you looking for?
Well, I'm just like, so they have all these like models that they've used.
Mm-hmm. So name a few.
Desiree Mia, I can't look them all up, so I don't know what color they are. But Harry Neff, that can't be white. Beanie Feldstein. Then you have Dre Thomas, Manuela Baron, Iskra Lawrence. Like, it's proof they've had many different men and women of color doing these commercials. So
here is one where they have, it's like all women of all sizes. Some have big butts.
Yeah.
I think this woman is pregnant right here. This woman here, it's called #Airy Real Role Models, and one of them has a prosthetic leg.
Yeah, so like, why aren't we like have an outcry for this shit? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is my problem with all the gaslighting and race baiting, is that it's always just whenever you have a white anybody.
Okay, American Eagle also had in their Airy underwear ad an African-American woman wearing a pair of American Eagle underwear, and she has an ostomy bag. So they are they're using models who are all beautiful, and they're all different. And even, like I said, they're showing a woman who has a prosthetic leg, a woman who has an ostomy bag. And she was on the actual American Eagle website. Here is another collage of women in the American Eagle website. They're including models who are all very different. One woman is in crutches. One woman is in a wheelchair. One woman. So just one is curvaceous. Like, it just blows my mind, because they're the one time they pick like the perfect genes woman. Now it's like they're this horrible company, and they have been a poster child for inclusivity for how many years?
Exactly.
And it was just kind of like a little tongue-in-cheek.
Right. But it had nothing to even really do with white. Like,
no, it had to do with how gorgeous she is.
Right. That's the fucking point. She's sexy. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Had nothing to do with the fucking color. Like, it's just so retarded that people are this fucking stupid.
Well, I'm feeling pretty ugly right now after looking at Sydney Sweeney and all of these other models.
Well, everyone looks ugly compared to them. So.
Well, they also had a girl with Down syndrome. Like, these are
right. So where's the bashing for that? Like,
oh, you're making fun of her.
Yeah. You're exploiting them. It's like, come on now, quit being stupid. Quit being a moron.
This is
all you people crying. Quit being morons. Just stop.
And I'm looking at the dudes too. Here's a whole crop of men. They have Asian, black, white, tall, thick, like wafy thin dudes. I do not. I wish you're not gonna be able to see it, but like she's wearing crutches, like using crutches.
Yeah.
They're using models of all sizes, shapes, and the one time they're like, let's pick, a gorgeous woman.
Yeah, it's just people being dumb. It's hard. It's just hard to get past the idiocy of fucking humanity.
All right, what else you got?
A point about this ad. Also, no, they are unwell. But let's hear them out. Let's watch some of these TikToks. Let's listen to them. Listen to their points. We're not going to be mean. We're not going to own the libs, okay? We are going to hear them out.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it.
That's Nazi propaganda.
Holy 2014 Tumblr. What the out here looking like she walked straight out of a Stone Toss comic. Looking like you're going on the thumbnail of this video. Listen, if your bangs end in the middle of your forehead, you don't have to tell me your political opinions. I know them. I can tell. Okay, sorry. I got it out of my system. Let's continue.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
So this commercial was apparently a reference.
They've never seen some of the old, like, remember the Pepsi commercial with—
It doesn't even matter. The problem is a lot of these idiot young people are fucking brainwashed idiots. They're just fucking stupid. Stupid. They have no thoughts of their own.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. They have so much access to TikTok, to constant.
You can tell they were raised by the internet. They are not, their parents are terrible parenting.
Well, it's not even, it's just the way the world is versus the way the world was. Like, we didn't have like the 24-hour news feed. We didn't have like people who—
No, we had news. This has nothing to do with
No. You're not hearing me out. We had news, but you watched it at 6 o'clock. We didn't have a platform when we were young like that where you could just say whatever you want and it would go out into the internet. If you wanted to run your mouth, you did it in person and you could get yourself punched or, like.
Well, that's not what's leading to brainwashing. The brainwashing is people like Hassan who spread bullshit and dumbass shit. Then you have these young, like, journalists like Taylor Lorenz or Kat Tenenbaum or whatever the fuck her name is that try to change narratives and force agendas that aren't true regarding like the Depp Heard trial. So you got so many of these younger people that are misleading the youth. And it's
just
poison, man.
They're looking at these
fucking poison.
Kids and younger adults are looking at people who have a lot of views and they're like, oh, well, they have a lot of views. They are probably knowledgeable. And, like investigative journalism is really kind of gone by the wayside the way it used to be, like in Dateline,
An old Brooke Shields commercial from the 80s.
The secret of life lies hidden in a genetic code. Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. This may result in the origin of an entirely new species, which brings us to Calvin's and the survival of the fittest.
Calvin Klein jeans.
Oh my god, she turns into a swastika.
She
does! She's 14 in that ad, by the way. Really creepy. So at least Sydney Sweeney is of legal age. 14 is actually pretty old for Brooke Shields if you know her history and her lore. If anything, that is the most f***ed up thing about this Sydney Sweeney ad, referencing an old ad of a child star who was abused by Hollywood. But yeah, it was a callback to an old commercial. And Sydney Sweeney is the current day hot celebrity, so they chose to do it with her. They unfortunately failed to consider the fact that in current year, white people are not allowed to say that they have good genes because that is Nazi propaganda.
A blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes.
Are you just jealous?
She is. I mean, I'm going to be mean. This chick looks like a fucking bull. Take the fucking ring out of your nose.
Oh my God.
Quit visiting the trough. Run a little bit on the treadmill.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking go there. I fucking hate idiots like this.
And she doesn't even know. And she's like,
she's gonna talk shit about Sydney Sweeney while looking like that.
Well, my point is all this hate is going towards Sydney Sweeney, and she's just the model. Like, she's not the one who came up with the ad.
Right.
She's not the one.
Let's be honest here, right? Let's just be fucking.
I'm jealous of Sydney Sweeney.
So you talked about American Eagle's past with using different people. If American Eagle had come to this cow and said, "Hey, we're going to pay you a lot of money to do this ad. Are you game?" She would do it in a heartbeat. Fuck yeah.
So like that's what I mean. And they're taking out all this hate onto Sydney Sweeney. She apparently, though, this is not the first time that she's kind of, and she's okay with it. Like, she's like, I'm okay with being pretty. She did that Rolling Stones.
She's a fucking actress.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
She did that Rolling Stones video. And when she did it, that also became a problem. And she's just being a hot chick driving a car in that video. Like,
yeah, it's dumb. The outrage is stupid.
Man, Sydney Sweeney, you're making me question
That
my.
is Nazi propaganda.
You don't get to drop lines about inherited traits, blue eyes, and great genes while zooming in on somebody that could have walked straight off of a Nazi propaganda poster.
A white, blonde, blue-eyed, Hitler's wet dream talking about how much she loves her genetics.
It's not just giving eugenics, it's giving male fantasy.
I like how eugenics and being attractive to men are like equally terrible things to these people.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany.
Why do they all speak the same? Why do they all...
1940. Did you see the way that chick was dressed? She was dressing like she was Amish. Like,
She's dressing like she's Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
I mean, like,
there's nothing about Sweeney that screams 1940. Sorry.
Do the same shit. They all say the same shit. It's giving. It's giving.
Put a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fair-skinned woman in an ad and say
this is what I'm
she
saying.
has
Sydney
good
Sweeney must be
genes.
stopped. It's not Sydney Sweeney. I hate this for her, and she has a very thick skin, and she can.
I don't think Sweeney really gives a
But,
fuck
like,
about what these idiots
these-
think. And good that she doesn't.
These people are going after her, and she is just the model and actress in it's a job.
Well, but
she didn't come.
see, to these people, like, if you don't like, there's like, Sydney should use her power to step up against this, and this is how they are. They just can't think logically.
Well, maybe
They're fucking
like
dumb.
it was Sydney's dream to be a jeans model. Like, I don't know what Sydney's.
It's fucking money,
right? Like, maybe
who gives a fuck?
Maybe Sydney.
We are a capitalist country. You earn money. Get off your ass. Go work. Make money. That's how it works, folks.
I go to work every day.
Right. It's making money. Like,
And
I bet
Sydney's going to work every day to pay
Right.
her bills.
It's just fucking envy and jealousy. It's all it is.
I don't
I
know if
also
can say
think
this, but
sometimes
it's literally giving
he
Nazi
said, she
propaganda.
said, or
It's giving.
sorry, not he
Also,
said,
the flesh-colored microphone? Why? It's giving.
that's giving
okay?
dick.
It's giving.
This is why she rules, because she just calls it like it is.
She's just, I said it's giving dick vibes.
Yeah. Got a big dick in her face. Getting ready to
So-
swallow that cock.
I think a
She's
lot.
probably an OnlyFans model.
No, don't isolate that, please.
I didn't hear any of this.
So,
No.
what I was gonna say is, I think it's the monkey see, monkey do. Like, you're on TikTok, it gets in your head, and it gets in your algorithm, and you're like, oh, Sydney Sweeney bad, Sydney Sweeney bad, Sydney Sweeney bad, and then you.
Which is funny because they'll do that because they want to get money off of that. So
or
they're
they
piggybacking.
just want the attention. Like,
Well, that's part of it. It's all they're all every time someone comes out, a young person comes out now, they want to be TikTokers. They don't want to do regular jobs. They want to be TikTokers because it's so easy.
it's not easy though.
But they think it is, so they start piggybacking and they're grifting. They're doing the grift.
We were God, who was the chick you were telling me about who had her big fall from grace? We watched a little bit about it. And she was one who does the videos, and she's just like dry and sarcastic. I had never heard of her, and you told me about her, and
What's her fuck face? Now it's gonna bother me.
she was the one. She had the kids and the
Olive,
husband.
Yeah. The it's called the
And then
really good podcast or something.
Mhm,
Yeah.
And she got like, thirsty for Drake while
Yeah.
they were in bed together.
Yeah.
Anyway, so even her, when she was saying like, I would do like 10 videos a day, and I would keep trying and trying and trying before something caught on. And then
Bobby Alha.
thank you.
Yeah.
And then like that personality that she portrayed is what caught on. So she said she was trying so many different things. That's like, it is still work. You know what it's like to deal with editing videos and stuff. So she's doing like a bunch of posts every single day.
I mean, dude, I could literally go and I could do this video about Sydney. Then I could do 50 more. And I'd probably start getting a lot of people tuning in because they want to hear about the next thing I say. But I don't have the time or the patience for that because there's only so much I can say about it. And after a while, I get bored. Like a lot of these other channels, they live off of this shit, and I don't. Like, but that's called grifting because you were just using it to line your pockets. Now, I don't have a problem with that because if that's how you want to do your channel, fine. I'm going to do this video. You and I are going to stay our piece, and then I'm moving the fuck on to something else. Unless, of course, something big drops about all this. But outside of that, I could care less. I'll talk about it now. Get it out of my system.
Would you like to talk about Israel and Palestine?
No, that's too boring.
This
And
is
then
more fun.
that would lead me down to fucking Hassan shit, and he's an idiot too. So.
And then it gets really depressing.
It's giving
I can't believe I actually have to explain this, but there is a reason that they picked a girl named Sydney Sweeney for this ad, and it's not just her blonde hair and her blue eyes.
Tell me
Sydney
about
Sweeney
Sydney
is laying with her German Shepherd dog in this shoot. Her name is Sydney Sweeney, so her initials are SS. They intentionally included her German Shepherd dog in the photo shoot.
Oh.
The tinfoil hats are coming out, baby.
Oh my god.
Oh god, that's great.
I cannot.
Jesus Christ. That actually happened to me once because of my handle and X. So because of the year I graduated, my name is DJ Anubis 88.
I thought you stole that from me because I am Neko 88.
No, my graduation. But then whenever I get in arguments online, they're like, yeah, this is coming from a Nazi because what's the 88 in your name? I said, well, gee, it's my graduation, you dipshit.
You know what the 88 is in my name?
Yeah, it's for Lindros.
Yep, it's Eric Lindros's number. Is Eric Lindros a Nazi? A Canadian Nazi?
I guess it would be.
If
you got it in your name, there you go. You are a Nazi. Nazi!
I did not know that I too am a Nazi with the 88 in my handle. Because
Right.
I think I might have dropped it on some of them because I kind of went to DJ Neko Cat Freak, but it used to be like DJ Neko 88.
Yeah. It just, people are dumb.
What's worse, DJ Neko 88? So I'd be like the cat Nazi, the DJ Cat Nazi, or DJ Neko, the cat freak.
Maybe Suzanne Summers was a Nazi. What was the leg thing?
The Thigh Master? Or is that some kind of secret Nazi weapon that they deployed to the United States that
Strengthen those thighs so you give birth to the white supremacist kids that are coming out. The Aryan nation will be born through your thighs of power.
And then she came out with all these like menopause and aging books that women were really drawn to. So
Nazi propaganda.
it must be. I'm sorry,
Oh
Suzanne, I
my
don't know.
god. Take your meds. Meds. Her name is Sydney Sweeney. Her initials are SS, like the Nazis. The dog is a German Shepherd. German, like the Nazis. Are they putting crack in birth control nowadays? What is going on? She is a hot woman. She is a hot woman because of the way she looks. She looks the way she looks because of genetics. She has great genes. That is how a normal person sees it. She's blonde and has blue eyes and her initials are SS and she has a German Shepherd. Is how a schizophrenic, politically brain-rotted person sees it.
Hi, thanks for calling American Eagle. This is Jess. How can I help today?
Oh, no.
Hi, I am a marketing student and was wondering if I could speak to someone who could maybe give me some insight as to what estimated return on investment there has to be willing to use white supremacy and eugenics as your marketing campaign.
On a marketing campaign?
Harassing some poor worker. Doesn't even fucking speak English. Has all to do with the commercial. These people are sick.
Yes, I recently saw American Eagle.
See, what's too bad is that the person on the other line, like I would have loved to get like maybe Matt Rife on the other end of that call. He'd be like, "See, hi, would you like?" Start going into
He would be.
Oh, he would be ripping them.
I mean, I hate like you hate her because you don't look like her.
Ding 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 ding.
I think I'm a moderately
Not
attractive
to mention,
person.
these are just people that jump on any they're fucking sheep. They are so fucking lame. They are sheep. They will jump on any little bandwagon to make themselves feel more important than
I understand having like a really big forehead. I too have a big forehead.
You're mean. You are mean.
Why do you think I have bangs? Like, I
Dude, she looks like a mongoloid.
Stop it. That's worse. But
It's like the eyes are a bit more separate than they need to be.
Well, at least she doesn't have my Forrest Whitaker eye. Like, we all have imperfections. Sydney Sweeney doesn't.
Yeah.
Who
cares?
Perfect.
It's like these people woke up one day and didn't realize most of Hollywood elite are like beautiful people. Like it doesn't matter what color they are or what sex they are. There's a lot of beautiful motherfuckers out there. You and I talk about all the time, and I'm not even gay, but Idris Elba is a sexy black motherfucker.
Handsome.
Yeah.
If I saw him in person, I think I would just melt. Like I'd be like, and then I faint.
I mean, what would I say if like Idris went and did like what's the steak commercials that Sam Elliott used to do?
Oh, it was just I think for like the cattle ranchers, like the beef cattle ranchers.
Yeah, imagine Idris doing that, and
I mean, like I want your fucking beef,
right? And he goes up there like you just take the bull by the horns, and like if you ever know about like white women when they talk about infidelity with black, they call them bulls. So imagine the outrage of people just freak the fuck out if he did a commercial like that. Really,
I would like him to do that shirtless. And eat a steak shirtless.
This is just how fucking dumb
and then
these fucking people
he'd
are.
like take a little bit of steak sauce and take a bite, and then it would drip down onto his chest. Yeah, I would like that.
Then right before they get to the nether areas, like it cuts out.
I'd be like, son of a bitch.
From the head to the we gotta go.
I think eugenics marketing campaign where they used that white blonde girl and talked about how good her genes were in a time where racism is rampant in the U.S.
Thank you for taking time to share your feedback.
Why are you bothering this random ass Filipino woman with your West Wing ass TED talk? Nobody gives a
Okay, so there's no way to, as a student, I can't learn about when eugenics makes sense in marketing. No one.
Well, go to school. Like they're not going to tell you anything there. They're not an educational building. Like they're just.
I don't think the customer service department,
especially in the Philippines, like they could give a rat's ass what you think. She's like, hey, I got another crazy bitch on the line.
On the marketing team can talk to me about that.
There's no marketing team.
They might have a marketing team, but they're not going to.
I miss like 50 years ago when these people would just be serial killers instead of doing whatever the fuck this is. She's even got other celebrities seething.
I don't think we really want them like being serial killers. Like I'd rather have them just be stupid on the phone than killing people. That would be a bad thing. Who the fuck is this?
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like.
Who?
I don't know much about Doja, but I think she's a singer, rapper.
Okay.
Hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Haha, she did a dumb redneck voice, get it? Because all white people are dumb inbred hicks. Good one, Doja. Hey, by the way, why are you pandering to the same exact people who got your ass canceled for wearing a Sam Hyde shirt once? They all think you're racist too, girl, but nice try. Hope they see this.
Doja Cat is making fun of Sydney Sweeney's ad only because she realized after all those years of her kissing up to white supremacists, they're never going to accept her because she's a half black woman. Wearing the Sam Hyde shirt, you dating all these white supremacists. So make fun of the ad all you want, but we'll never forget you rolling around in those chat rooms showing white supremacists your feet so they can make fun of your black ass.
Oh, they did see it, and they still hate you.
Weird adverts aside about how the best genes are characterized in a conventionally attractive white, blonde, blue-eyed woman. Not true. I mean, look at me. Within 5 years, or as soon as she shows any sign of aging, that's it. The moment she becomes visibly over 25.
Enjoy the ride now, babe, before you get too old and ugly and hit the wall. But wokely. This is just something I've noticed in the decade of criticizing feminism on the internet. Male feminists are the most misogynistic, sexist freaks ever when they finally have an acceptable, approved target to go after. God forbid you are a woman with the incorrect opinion, because hell hath no fury like a male feminist replying to you.
A strawberry blonde, blue-eyed woman marketing
having great genes. This is just a whole fucking eugenics campaign, and I, for one, would like to throw myself off a balcony.
Do it. Do a backflip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, I'll pay you to do it. Actually, that'd be fun. Go do it.
Live stream it. Also, these people just straight up don't know what the eugenics movement is. Talking about genetics is not eugenics. Sydney Sweeney did not say she had the best genes or superior genes or that other people had bad, inferior genes. Someone even made it like a fake ad, like Beyonce.
Like eugenics, if you really want to deep dive into what eugenics was, that was early days of genetic altering, and which ultimately led to the Nazis and getting rid of bad genes just because they couldn't figure out like how to genetically do it to make more good gene people. So when you start speaking, they keep saying eugenics, like they literally were trying to crack the code so that nobody could be born except white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. And then when they couldn't figure it out, they just started exterminating people who was not, and it wasn't just Jews, like it was primarily Jews, but it was people with disabilities. It was small people. I don't want to say midgets, but people with dwarfism. I don't know the PC
but
word
that's
is.
not what
That's not what anybody wants to talk about. They just want to talk about superiority and it's the SS and.
I want to talk about the Nazis and their fucking dive into the occult and
I want to talk about the Nazis
werewolves and
taking
stuff.
over the moon.
Yeah, I want that. Let's talk about that.
It has better genes, and it's like, why'd you pick the picture where she has like a blonde wig on?
This campaign is poking at women's greatest and most tender insecurity under the patriarchy, which is desirability and the beauty standard. It affects not only non-white women, even though this is clearly white supremacist, Aryan race propaganda, but it also adversely affects the majority of white women who do not naturally have blonde hair and blue eyes. Because yes, even the women who can achieve this look have to do it through artificial means in one.
But no. She's not doing it artificially.
But that's what she's saying. She's saying like even white women who, spoiler alert, I don't have red hair.
That's insecurity. Fuck it. I'm just gonna call it as it is. Like, we talk about certain things when it comes to insecurity. Well, if you're that worried about how she looks and you feel like you have to look like her, you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. And anybody that has kids, teach them not to worry about chicks like this. Say no. That's just one type of woman. You can be your own woman. See, just like this black woman, she's not unattractive. So
she's gorgeous.
This lie that they try to perpetuate is bullshit. It's just bullshit.
She's gorgeous.
Way or another. The vast majority of white women are not naturally blonde. And of course, lots of white women are also insecure about having brown eyes.
I am naturally blonde hair and blue-eyed, but I also look better in red hair.
Well, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be.
You met me when I was blonde.
Yeah.
And then you saw all kinds of, you're just like a chameleon. Your hair is one way, your hair is curly, it's long, it's short. I'm like, I just like to change it up all the time. But
and here's the other thing that this girl's saying is that I got a secret for her that she may not know. Men don't give a fuck about blonde. They don't give a fuck about brunette. They don't give a fuck about red hair. They don't care about color. We like women. We don't care. And some guys like thick women. So let's just quit with the bullshit, okay? We are simple things. We are simple creatures. Boobs. We're very primitive. We see pussy and we're like, we like that. And it doesn't have to be Sydney Sweeney. In fact, I could choose a gazillion girls over Sydney Sweeney. I think Sydney's hot.
I think she's hot too.
So, but there are plenty of fine chicks that aren't her. So let's just stop.
I think she's gorgeous. Like, it's just my opinion.
I think one of the most beautiful black women I've ever seen is Aaliyah. God rest her soul.
God, I loved her.
But she was so gorgeous,
beautiful, and so talented.
So let's please just stop with
too bad about
shit.
Fucking what's his face. Why'd you have to marry him?
Yeah. But anyway,
Anyway,
that's a whole other
I don't-
story.
yeah, well,
So
we
that's
can
a
do a
whole
whole thing on
generation
Oleta
of young white
another
women
day.
who are being further propagandized to purchase blonde hair dye and contacts for the rest of all time.
Okay, what? Are attractive women just not allowed to model anymore because, like, God forbid it makes some other women insecure? And as someone with brown eyes, I've never once felt insecure about having brown eyes. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna get into Hyperborea, but I've seen myself photoshopped with blue eyes. Horrifying. So we've gone from Nazi propaganda to genocide to racism to now poor little girls are gonna feel insecure because they don't have blue eyes like Sydney Sweeney.
Another thing about the Sydney Sweeney beauty standard that is very important to note is that big boobs are a hallmark of what conservative men are attracted to. At the
Actually, I'm actually kind of upset. Like, so Sydney is attractive, but her boobs are kind of big, like compared to what I normally like.
Oh, you don't like boobs?
I do, but like I usually like them like just right here, not like out here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want to talk about yours? My little hand.
No,
if I
no.
go over there with the little hand.
No, the little hand's not going to work right now.
the end of the early 2000s and through the 2010s, we were becoming a more progressive society, and so we also naturally progressed to be a more ass-centric society.
In the 2000s, we were becoming more progressive, so we started objectifying women's butts. What?
like
The
ass.
communist utopia will be ass-centric.
Can I have that?
I didn't know the ass first thing was political. How does she know conservatives are all boob men? Conservatives in the audience, are you a boobs or butt guy? What political affiliation are the feet men? Libertarians. Listen, they can try to disguise it with their little intersectionality buzzwords all they want, but at the end of the day, women just want a socially acceptable reason to hate other women. That's it.
Good genes passed on to offspring? That American.
Yeah, let's talk about that too, because most of the criticism comes from other women. It's not even guys. Like it's feminist guys that are doing it, but most guys aren't falling for the banana in the tailpipe. These chicks, man, they are the biggest criticizers and attackers out there. They will criticize women night and day, like just tear them down. It's really crazy.
I mean, Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is literally overt eugenics. I know you don't want to hear this, but if you want to talk about how that ad is promoting eugenics, which it absolutely is, we also have to talk about how choosing not to wear a mask when you can during an ongoing pandemic, because you're okay with a certain subset of people, primarily disabled people of color, dying for your own comfort, is also eugenics.
1 second.
It's 2025.
2025. We are talking about wearing masks for COVID in 2025. I like how she's woke scolding the other woke scolds for not woke scolding about her particular pet issue. COVID broke the brains of so many of these people, man. It's because it's when the world was just a giant, safe HR longhouse where it was socially acceptable for them to be moral busybodies and never leave their home. It was like the closest to their lib shit utopia that we have ever gotten, and they miss it.
I remember growing up in a predominantly white community, wishing myself out of this body, out of this culture, take my name, if it meant that I could wake up blonde-haired and blue-eyed, never having to explain who I am or worry about being accepted. That is why this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is especially off-putting.
Listen, I'm sorry that happened to you, but we live in a predominantly white country. If you go to another country, there will be a different beauty standard. If you go to because she's attractive and
who I am or worry about being accepted.
I was going to say that, like, you go to South Africa, it's primary black. So, yeah, people don't understand that, like, in America, it's mostly white people. So,
I mean, it depends on where you live, number
That
one.
is why this American Eagle ad with Sydney.
Every country has different beauty standards. And I remember reading this article about a person who had a picture of them. And they're just like a standard woman. And she sent it to a bunch of different Photoshop, like touch-up places. And one's in Europe, one's in all over the world, one's in China, and said, hey, can you please touch up my photo for a magazine shoot? And she got back completely different looking pictures. Some people made her skin darker, some made it lighter, some people made her have bigger hips, some people, and she was just, you know, like your girl next door kind of gal, like. And she said it's really interesting to see the different beauty standards because these are Photoshop magazine touch-up professionals for, like, you know, Vogue France or, you know, big magazines in other countries. And that's what they do to their models when they put them into, you know, the magazine ads. So we have to think about that too. Like, it's an ad at the end of the day. And we're really putting a lot of this hate onto poor Sydney Sweeney. And
well, it's hate. Even the hate on American Eagle is stupid as fuck because you're just overreacting to the simplest of things because people are so overly sensitive. And the worst part is when you don't have facts of the intention behind it, this is why context matters. That makes it more dangerous for idiots like this to get onto their little TikToks and spread.
I mean, I could be like, this is ageism. I'm 20 years older than her, so I feel like you're perpetuating youth.
You're promoting youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so fucking. It just makes these people look so small. They're just terrible people.
I honestly, I saw the ad that you played, and I've just seen the backlash and read a bunch of the online gossip and stuff. And me personally, I was just like, I want some American Eagle jeans now. Like,
you know, it's funny because, you know, tomorrow I'll be doing my franchise with Kevin Lambert on the Lethal Weapon movies. And if you remember anything from Lethal Weapon 2, is that Danny Glover's character Murtaugh has an older daughter named Rihanna. And so one of the funnier things in that is that she's doing a commercial for the first time because she's trying to do acting. So she's about 17 or 18. And so everyone gets excited that they're doing this commercial, but no one knows what the commercial is about. So Riggs is like telling the entire police department, hey, Murtaugh's like daughter's in a commercial tonight. Everyone needs to sit down at 7 o'clock and watch this.
Oh, no.
And at the same time, Murtaugh has this guy that's working on building an addition to his house. So he's like a carpenter. So he's there with the coffee in the background. So everyone is gathered on the couch to watch the commercial. And it's got Rihanna like in a swimsuit on the beach with her friends, and they're running and playing. And then the ball hits like this black kid. And so the kid gets up and they run together. And then obviously it pans down and it's a commercial for Trojan condoms. So immediately after, like, of course, Murtaugh is like just like in shock, and he's like telling everyone that's not part of the household to go home. Riggs is kind of like laughing. This is Mel Gibson's character. And then, of course, the carpenter's like, man, she makes me want to go buy condoms. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like no one is overthinking this, right? Like, even though it's funny because Murtaugh being the father.
Yeah, he wants to protect his daughter.
So now everyone knows in the police force that his daughter did a Trojan condom commercial. But later on, Leo Getz, played by what's his face?
Joe Pesci.
Yeah. He's like, hey, have you seen this commercial with this girl? It's amazing. She makes me want to go buy condoms. And it's just a funny gag. And that's exactly what this is doing. They're taking Sydney Sweeney, who's a beautiful woman, and just trying to use sex to sell it to other girls to go buy jeans.
I want to buy jeans now. I mean, I need a couple pairs.
Right.
I need some new bra.
Especially off-putting.
Listen, I'm sorry that happened to you, but we live in a predominantly white country. If you go to another country, there will be a different beauty standard. If you go to the country of your ancestors, there will be a different beauty standard, and maybe it will look more like you. But again, she didn't say her jeans were better or the best, and it's not like all the hot popular celebrities look like Sydney Sweeney. Look at Ana de Armas. Look at Zendaya. They don't look anything like Sydney Sweeney, and they are known as very beautiful around Hollywood. This is why corporations in the media think in order to pander to the female gaze, everything has to be like average and frumpy and ugly, because women can't stop fucking projecting their insecurities. Not every character in a movie or a video game has to look like you. Not everyone in an ad has to look like you. Hell, the only time I see people who look like me is when I turn on the live-action Grinch movie. You notice men never say this shit, by the way? They usually go like, wow, that man is strong. I don't look like that. I'm gonna go to the gym. And women are like, wow, that woman is thin. I don't look like that. I'm gonna go complain.
What makes Sydney Sweeney's jeans better? Like, why did you get that joke? All us woke people are saying is that it's just a little bit weird to directly reference European jeans as better.
Again, she never said that her jeans were better. You are making shit up.
Now, when you think of the all-American girl, like the standard of like American beauty, you
You're just
probably
jealous
think
because you look
blonde
like
hair,
fucking
blue eyes, white girl, right? You're not supposed to think that way.
You're not supposed to think that way.
The funny thing is that really, outside of Immaculate, I've not seen Sydney in a lot of stuff, to be honest. And if I'm going to think about any kind of like actress right now that's more popular than her, there's a couple. There's Jenna Ortega, who's like the big thing right now. Zendaya. Then you have Anya Taylor-Joy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Sydney really isn't like dominating Hollywood in that regard. Like
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, yeah, she's like far more popular than.
And she's blonde haired.
Yeah, why aren't everyone crying about her doing Barbie? Like, it's come on now. Like, even though it was a feminist movie and all this stuff, why aren't they bashing?
It wasn't super feminist.
Well, it was in the sense that he had the director that's feminist and there was some feminist propaganda, but who gives a fuck, right? It was a good movie. I don't get it. Like, people are stupid, just stupid.
Guys, that's double plus ungood.
That's ingrained in you because of negative things that have been pushed on you by society.
When you think about the all-American woman, you should be thinking about an obese, transgender, disabled woman or something. What would be an acceptable vision of the American woman for this?
Well, they couldn't do that because then they would say, oh, you're just mocking us. That's what it would be. It'd be mocking.
But we just went over this. American Eagle has an all-inclusive model.
Yep.
Like, they have disabled women, they have plus-size women, they have women of every background as models on their website, in their, you know, catalogs. So I'm just really struggling over this Sydney Sweeney thing because, let's be real, I feel like this is more jealousy than anything else.
It is. It's just, it's so dumb because what it is because they didn't take a lesbian or they didn't take.
They've had lesbians. They've had.
But I'm just saying, it's
right
now because of Trump being in office. It's all just that. It's like, it's racist country right now. Oh my God, it's so rampant. No, it's not. You're just fucking an idiot. That's the problem. Most of the people in America are not you, or they're not the fucking crazy right. We are normal people that think rationally. You are the idiots on the outskirts that are fucking outrageous.
And then, like, TikTok just fuels the fire. It really does.
Yes.
It really does.
Yes.
I feel like once it gets in your algorithm and you keep seeing it over and over.
It's why they tell you, unplug. Get the fuck away from the internet. Because you are being brainwashed.
Maybe
by
you
the
should
idiots.
Take some of that advice.
Who? Me? No, I don't know. I'm not crazy. That's the difference. No. Mm-mm. All right. Let's move on to another topic because this one still has like a few left, but I'll put the link in the description for you all so you can go back.
So do you want to break this up? Like, we could do this, close this out, and start a new.
No. I usually do 2 hours worth of stuff.
Yeah, but if you break this up now, you can get your shorts through StreamYard because we're at.
No, because if I go longer, well, I know what you're saying, but yeah, no, we're okay. I don't want to do that.
Are you sure?
Yep.
What
Yep.
if I need to go get a snack?
We'll go and I'll handle what we're going, or I can pause it.
Why don't you introduce the next topic and I'll go get a snack.
Okay, go get a snack. So yeah. All right. So, in fact, it's good because I have a trailer that we're going to show for Netflix because one of the things that we like watching is all your murder docs and unsolved mysteries and stuff like that. So something that came up on Netflix more recently was Amy Bradley is missing. So in 1988, a young lady was with her family on a cruise and ended up disappearing, to which no one knew exactly what happened to her. She just up and vanished, like They didn't know if she fell overboard. In fact, that's what the family thought at first, because the night before she'd been laying on one of the chairs out on the open balcony of the ship. And it was like in the early morning hours, like 5 to 6 a.m. So when the father got up, she wasn't there anymore. And I guess they didn't hear her leave, if that's what they thought also later on. So they thought she fell overboard. So they tried to notify the captain and the ship crew, but they couldn't really stop because they were just getting in port to Curacao, I think, at the time. And so they had, you had all these other guests, and they wanted to go visit and tour Curacao. So it was really kind of a delay on that. Finally, they did send out some helicopters and stuff to the last area they thought that she might have been in as they were coming in. Then, of course, you have to think about sharks and everything else. So they couldn't find a body. And that's only because they really thought maybe she fell overboard, but it's almost impossible to do that on this ship. So basically, there's been over the years sightings from other people on the islands surrounding Curacao, or Venezuela and stuff like that. So they thought that they'd seen her and talked to her.
Sorry.
Miss Noisy over there.
I saw that we still have some of that rice and some of the peppers. You want that for dinner?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make that for dinner after we do this. I don't know why I'm so hungry. I had Jersey Mike's for lunch, so we had a team.
My Christian Bale.
We had a team lunch today, and we got Jersey Mike's. But I'm a little hungry, and we have the peppers and onions, and we have that delicious.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about Amy Bradley, but I'm gonna show you the trailer for it. Then we do have a video that has some things called the weird things about this case. But
I have so much to talk about because I actually have been to Curacao many times, and not a lot of people have been to Curacao just in general. So
all right,
let's start from the beginning, and then we'll go.
Yep.
We'll get into it.
If you ever wanted to kill somebody, just take them on a cruise.
Exactly what has happened to their daughter is a mystery.
Because you'll never get caught.
Welcome aboard the MS Rhapsody of the Seas.
Amy Bradley was 23 and she was on her family vacation.
The water was crystal clear. Life is good, everything's great. Thought I'd see her tomorrow. I went to bed. Around 5:30 in the morning, I saw Amy on the balcony. 6 o'clock, woke up again. She wasn't there.
He said, I've been looking for Amy, and I can't find her.
We check every inch of the ship.
Captain came in.
He says the FBI have searched. Your daughter's not on this boat.
Just so many theories.
If she fell off, something would have washed ashore.
That night, I saw Amy and this guy that worked on the boat. I got a bad vibe.
Now years had passed and we've had so many sightings.
I saw her. That's where I was standing. Amy's alive. Taxi driver said her daughter is on this island.
She could have been lured off the ship.
I saw her in the restroom of Barbados. I said, what's your name? Amy.
I was in the bar in Curacao. One girl said, my name is Amy Bradley. I need help.
I thought that could be Amy. Somebody saw something?
Please let her go.
Somebody heard something?
I have information.
We need to have answers.
She's still out there somewhere.
So there you go. Trailer for Amy Bradley is Missing. And so we watched it. Like most doc, you start out watching them and you start thinking, oh, well, I kind of think this happened or this happened. And then all of a sudden we get more information, different things happening. And then you're like, oh, well, this changes things.
And also you have to remember a documentary is still a movie and it can be slanted because remember.
FX is very guilty of doing stuff like that. When How to Make a Murderer came out, they did some things that would slant things a certain way.
And then we watched the Candace Owens
yeah.
version where she's like, this was left out of the documentary and this was left out of the documentary. So it's easy just by omission that you can, slant something just by leaving out some information. for me, being a former sailor, like it's unless, and I'll start off by saying, I truly think that someone was involved, someone got Amy off the ship in that small timeline where they didn't know where she was. And because it was not considered a crime scene yet and they were pulling into Curacao, the captain made the decision. He's like, well, this is a very large ship. She could be anywhere. So they didn't lock down the ship and not let anyone off in Curacao. They were going on along their business. When you, and cruise ships are even better than working ships like what I was on, but all the guardrails are really high. So the chance of you falling over is only by choice.
I'm going to stop you real quick there, because the brother has talked a lot since the doc has come out and everything about this. And, you know, he contends that no, she did not fall off because of that very fact that the rails are high. And plus, when they first started kind of like looking at the room they were in, he would go over and say, hey, Amy, look at the water over here, like just looking over, right? And she didn't want to do it because maybe some fear of like being next to the railing or whatever. But one thing that I contended was, that I told you about when we were watching, is that if she had fallen,
it would have been on purpose.
Right, because normally if just an accident happened, you're screaming like, oh my God, fuck, you know, something would happen. But like I mentioned to you, was one thing about like the movie, and I think it was 92 or maybe it was even 89, called Permanent Record with Keanu Reeves. His friend in that movie fell off a cliff, and one of the things were that people thought it was an accident, but he had said to the parents of that character that died was that I didn't hear a scream. So again, there's some other information that we're going to talk about where Amy might have been battling personal demons, and if she had jumped, she would not have screamed because it would have been intentional.
So being, again, like for 5.5 years, I was constantly on ships. And the ships that I worked on, even, I mean, you have railings, but they're still kind of high. And Amy was about my height, maybe a little higher, but even to fall over them by accident, I've been in very rough seas, and I enjoy rough seas, so I would go outside, which he would hate hearing that, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm king of the world, and the waves are going. But you would need a very, you need someone to push you over, or it's really hard for you to just kind of lean over and fall down because of the height of a lot of these. I'm just saying from personal experience, because I've been on ships, a lot of ships, working ships, not luxury cruise liners. Number two, I think the reason I think that she was taken off the ship is because, or again, like you said, possible suicide. If you are going to get over those railings, you need to step onto something and over it. And they kept talking about the table.
Yeah.
So there are two sides to it. But when they were speaking with the authorities in Curacao and talking about where it would have happened at what time and the currents and stuff, Curacao is kind of rocky, and the currents, you would have had possibly a body wash up. So you go ahead, and I'm going to give you a little bit of personal details about Curacao, like being there on the dark underbelly, because the Curacao that you see when you're on a So Curacao sits right off the coast of Venezuela, and the history of Venezuela is like their money is worthless. It's kind of gone. Everybody who there were so many workers. I was staying at the fucking Hilton in Curacao before I flew home, and lots of Venezuelans working and saying like this is where people try to come because it's so close. It's just Curacao, like pretty Curacao is one place. Reality Curacao is where my ship would dock, not in the cruise area. And we actually had one of the British ships, the guys got beat up and mugged on the way back to like the working ports. And I don't know if people understand that, like when you're going into cities, there are the working ports and the cruising ports where like if you're going to a destination, perfect example for me besides Curacao was like Hawaii. Hawaii is beautiful regardless, the working ports and the cruising ports, but it's very different. You're kind of like out of the way. If you want to get to where the nice things are, you are out of the way. You're going down like shady, seedy, like small, tiny alleyways to get to like the main drag. And that's usually where the crime happens. So Curacao is the tourist industry is what really has been keeping Curacao. It's a former Dutch colony, so there's a lot of like Dutch influence. There's a lot of history there. But if you want to get started with the video, so before I get too far ahead of myself, whereas part of the reason.
Well, let's lay it out because, like I said, this video says something about the weird things that don't make sense about Amy Bradley. So remember, like, the different theories at first were, did she jump? Did she fall? Then we got, like, later on, there were pictures that showed up to the family. And they showed this woman who looked like an escort. And
Curacao, up until the pandemic, had one of the largest live-in brothels.
Yeah.
Like legal live-in brothels. Sailors, like the dudes would flock to it. It was called Campo. And the women literally had to rent their rooms, make their money for the night. And it would be like their rooms were where they lived. And they would have relations or whatever in the rooms, but they'd come down because it was a bar and it was like on the beach and stuff too, but it was a brothel. And they would come down and they try to, get with as many men as possible in night to make money because they had to pay out every night so that they could continue to stay there. That is one of the reasons why I think it's entirely possible that she ended up there, because it's very hard to get out of there.
Now, the other thing that kind of got said that, one thing the brother's been denying is that it was turned out that Amy was gay. And so, there was some, not so much tension because the family still loved her, but the parents, this is the 90s. So
it was harder to accept.
Yeah. But they did. But, some people may come to the conclusion that, well, did the parents do something nefarious because she was? Which, no. But, again, that's something that comes up about maybe also Amy maybe being depressed about it because at the time, again, it wasn't something that was socially acceptable. But, there was people that were close to Amy that said she was never depressed about it, or at least not in the sense that she would hurt herself. So again, and then we get these people that again say, I saw Amy at some point on the beach, or I bumped into her into a bathroom. And so if you're
remember the one guy was like, I saw her in a brothel.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see what this
guy says. And I'm
Amy Lynn Bradley was just 23 years old when she vanished from the Royal Caribbean's Rhapsody of the Seas on March 24th, 1998. But how does a person just disappear off a cruise ship? This cold case is heating up, thanks to a new Netflix documentary. But we've still got questions. The night of March 23, 1998, Amy and her brother Brad were hanging out at a disco at the top of the ship until the early hours of the next morning. According to Brad, around 3 o'clock a.m., he went out to the upper deck for a half an hour or so, then returned to their room. A few minutes later, Amy came back to their room, and the two hung out on the balcony for some time before Brad decided to go to bed. Amy stayed outside, and her father, Ron, says he woke up around 5:30, saw that she was still there with the door closed, and went back to sleep until 6 a.m., at which point he saw that she had disappeared.
I noticed that the balcony door was open, about 12 to 14 inches.
Pause that real
I
fast.
noticed that her cigarettes weren't.
So he woke up at 5:30. I stir in the morning before I get up sometimes. He may have woken up again because he heard her leave, right? Like 6 o'clock. So that half hour, he looked outside, didn't see her. But again, you're still not panicking because...
Do we remember, though, remember when they talked about how two women saw her and the bassist from the band?
Mm-hmm.
What time was that? Do you remember what they...
That was before all of this.
So
that was before she went
1 or
back to
2
her
in the
house.
morning?
Yeah, because they had so a lot of people don't realize, even if you're close in proximity to, bodies of land, boats are slow.
Mm-hmm.
So something that could take mere hours,
Yeah, when you used to leave, I remember you'd be like, yeah, we're leaving about 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, but then I'd be driving home around 5 and you'd still be kind of just on the outskirts of the bay.
Yes. So if perfect example, I was in Taiwan a lot, and Taiwan to Thailand is, I think, a 3-hour flight, 4-hour flight, but Taiwan to Thailand, just at cruising speed, not because when we work, the ship would go very, very slow, but cruising speed to get back to Taiwan, it took 6-7 days. So, and they're very close. Aruba, Barbados, and Curacao, which are all very, very popular for cruises, that whole, they left out of Puerto Rico. All of the Caribbean is very, very popular for cruises. But I forgot if did they leave from Puerto Rico and go to Curacao, or were they in Aruba and then went to Curacao?
I think they were in Aruba.
Okay. So a flight from Aruba to Curacao is 2 hours. But it was 2 days at sea. And that's why they were they had fancy night, and then they had the dress up dinner, and then they went to the disco. So it I think it was a day and a half at sea where they were getting themselves to the next destination. Ships are slow.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting, especially for me, for someone who sailed and someone who has been to Curacao. When they start talking about things, I'm this starts to make sense, because there's a lot of seedy people and seediness that goes on in Curacao.
Out there.
Amy's shirt was left on a chair in the room, and the shoes she'd been wearing remained on the balcony. Ron left the room to look for Amy, thinking she had changed and gone to get coffee before the ship docked in Curacao. But when nothing came of his brief search, he returned to the room and let the rest of the family know. Around 7 a.m., Ron and Amy's mother, Iva, went down to the ship's purser's office and asked if an announcement could be made that they were looking for their daughter. They were told no. Brent Hunter, the guest relations manager, explained during an interview for Netflix Amy Bradley is Missing that he told the Bradleys a ship-wide announcement that early would be intrusive to the other guests.
They were really, really concerned and, a bit forceful in wanting to know what we could do.
Hunter told Ron and Iva to spend a half an hour looking around the ship, and if they still weren't able to find Amy, to come back.
Do you think Well, I don't think they do it now, but do you think that they should be putting, like, you know how like airlines will now have like a U.S. Marshal on there? Do you think they should start putting like authority of like police on ships?
You can't.
Why is that?
International waters. It's a whole.
Because there are different laws and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you're technically now.
So now, like,
so many miles off of Curacao is international waters, and now you are in Curacao. So even if you had a marshal on the ship, they have no jurisdiction.
What about personal security?
I mean, you could have personal security, but if personal security went into Curacao or something happened on the ship, it would fall under Curacao law.
Right.
That's why sailing and ships are very, very different. It's kind of funny because you know how we always joke about diplomatic immunity.
Yeah.
When shit happens in international waters, it's like the wild, wild west. So like if something would happen in unclaimed, I hate saying it's the wrong term, in international waters, but it's like, it's waters that are, you only have so many miles off of your coast that's considered your territory. So when things happen in international waters, it's harder to pin it on people, and that's why, like, that's the joke. Like, if you're a serial killer, you go out into international waters and dump the bodies, et cetera, et cetera. But like, you could have personal security, and I'm sure they have security unarmed on a lot of ships that are there to help keep order and peace. But if something happens like what happened to Amy, it's now considered like, that's why you have to get the FBI involved, because it's an international issue. Like it happened in Curacao. It didn't happen. That ship, I don't know. And that's the other thing too. Ships are kind of like their own entities as well. And a lot of
like their own island.
Yes. And they fly their own flag. And when I say that, the ships that I've sailed on, some of them were under American flags. Some of them were under Marshall Islands flags. So technically the laws of America apply to the ship. Technically the laws of the Marshall Islands apply to the ship. So I don't know what flag that this ship actually flew to be like, you know, okay, so, but a lot of ships fly a Marshall Islands flag for tax purposes, and
right.
And it's also easier when you fly a Marshall Islands flag to get Filipino crew members, and Filipino crew members are amazing. They make some of the best sailors that I've ever sailed with, just because of visa purposes and stuff. So a lot of times these ships will have flags which will be beneficial for their employees, not necessarily beneficial for like whatever, but the Marshall Islands, I'm going to go on a tiny tangent and then I'll stop. We, as in the United States, were testing the atomic bomb off of the Marshall Islands and basically decimated a lot of the Marshall Islands. So we kind of said to them, listen, we're sorry. You're not American citizens, but you're technically American citizens. So that's kind of how the Marshall Island flag on ships happened. And then we were taking a lot of Marshall Islanders, which kind of somehow became Filipinos and stuff too. Anyway.
Yeah.
And they would make an announcement. But there was another problem. The ship had just docked, and passengers were getting ready to disembark. The Bradleys asked that the ship keep the gangway up until they'd located Amy, but they were again refused. Kirk Detweiler, the cruise director, heard the eventual ship announcement requesting that Amy head to the purser's office just before he announced the opening of the gangway.
We're not going to stop everybody's cruise because there was a missing girl. That's one family's unfortunate incident.
Brad told People magazine shortly after the documentary aired that Detweiler's attitude was indicative of how the family was treated during their search.
He said, "It's my opinion that how he portrayed himself, his feelings, and lack of empathy for his passengers is fairly representative of how these industries view their customers. And things only seem to get worse."
Well, that's not true, though, because, again, here's the thing. They have so many people, and that, like, again, if they would have, like, if Amy had been, like, passed out in a bathroom on one of the floors and been fine, like, then you're holding everybody up because of some drunken bitch. And then what's going to happen then? What are you going to kick them off? Like, so then they'd be saying, well, they were unfairly treating us because our daughter just happened to get trash drunk. Like, you have to, you can take it seriously, but then you have to also understand you have a lot of other families to deal with because this is a cruise. So until there's like something, proof purchase that someone has been nefariously taken or fallen off or whatever, you can't just stop everything.
But it goes back to what I literally just said. We are now in Curacao. We were just in international waters. It gets a little murky when it comes to laws, so you can only do so much. At the time of this, it was registered in Norway. The flag now is Bahamas.
Yeah.
So
from there. Once the ship's passengers left, Detweiler and the rest of the crew performed what is called a Charlie drill, which involved all 800 to 900 crew members searching each of their assigned areas, top to bottom. The Bradleys, meanwhile, were told to go back to their cabin and wait for it to be completed. Eventually, the captain came to see them and told them that after a thorough search, Amy was not aboard. But according to Brad, there wasn't much of a search at all.
They searched restrooms and public areas, but not all the crew's cabins or the passengers' cabins or anything to that degree.
At this point, the ship's crew assumed Amy must have fallen overboard, and local Curacao police got involved. But they had doubts about the overboard theory. The harbor police chief told the Amy Bradley is missing crew that the waters surrounding the island have a very strong current, meaning that if Amy had entered the water, she would have made it ashore in some way. The Dutch Caribbean Marines, Coast Guard, and Navy all got involved in the search as well, and they came to the same conclusion.
Because of the position of the boat, wind force, sea current, wave height,
they were very
the body
close
would have washed up.
By the time the FBI got involved in the case, Amy had been missing for 2 days. Agents boarded the ship in St. Martin and conducted a search of the Bradley's room, but there was a problem there too.
The Bradley room had been cleaned before the FBI even was able to get on board, which was unfortunate because if there was evidence,
any potential evidence related to a possible crime hadn't been preserved, so tracking Amy's last steps on the ship would have to come down to eyewitness testimony. The night before Amy disappeared, she had been hanging out with a man, Alistair Yellow Douglas. Douglas was the bass player for the ship's band, Blue Orchid, and he apparently took a strong liking to Amy. According to Brad, when Amy came back to their room that night, she told him that Douglas had gotten a little too close while they were dancing, but several passengers later recalled seeing Amy with Douglas in the early morning hours of March 24th.
Amy and the band member walk over and up to the next deck up above us, and then about 10 minutes later, he came walking around by himself.
Brad also said that Douglas approached him before anyone knew Amy was missing to say that he was sorry to hear about his sister. The FBI questioned him just before the cruise ended, and Douglas took a polygraph. The results were inconclusive, but Douglas was let go. In 2024, Douglas gave an interview with James Renner's True Crime This Week, in which he reiterated that he had nothing to do with Amy's disappearance, and that the last time he spoke to her was about 5 minutes before 1 a.m.
That was my last conversation.
I thought they were talking about her on the elevator with
last
him.
time.
I don't know. Like, if the girls said they saw him go down steps or something at one point, but that was around the time they said.
Yeah, and it's hard to nail down a timeline. You know, they say nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
But there was the one thing we said about the daughter for this guy was that
she felt something was.
He came back and his suitcase was full of pictures of different white women, and I don't think Amy's picture was in there. Maybe it was, but she thought maybe her dad was involved in some sort of trafficking because they might have been selectively singling out women.
And that's why I'm saying Curacao. When I talk about Campo, I can't even put it into words. Like, it's 100% possible that they were trafficked. Like, a lot of these women, there were a lot of Venezuelan women who were there trying to get away from Venezuela, who were lured, you know, I don't want to say under false pretenses, but yeah, like, you're going to have a better life than what you have, but you just have to have like a lot of sex to make your money and pay your rent, and you're never going to get ahead because of every day you have to have like.
And that's why now, like in the doc, the one woman that bumped into her overheard what she thought Amy was saying, that she had kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they asked, like, well, whenever Amy bumps into somebody, why doesn't she try to get away or say something more? And I think she's alluding to the fact that she has kids out there that they might be holding hostage for her to go do these things and make that money.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too, again, like Aruba, Barbados, and Curacao are so close to each other. That's why they're the ABC Islands. But she probably started in Curacao. It may not even been in Campo, because Curacao, again, if you're not on the main, every picture you see of Curacao is of these beautiful, and it is beautiful, these beautiful multicolored buildings, the Queen's Bridge, which has all the lights and the arches. And yeah, most of Curacao is not that. That is like 1/100th of what Curacao is. So when people visit Curacao, they're only seeing like 2 to 3 streets. It's I'm not saying it's like awful, but if you watch the doc, it is kind of like you need to be careful, and there are gangs and stuff there too. It's not quite as bad as Jamaica. And one thing Anu was always warned me about, and always, he was like, please just stay with your friends. Don't walk alone anytime you go out. And I did, because I'm not trying to get abducted or whatever.
Yeah, because you don't, even if you feel like you're okay or feel like that you're aware and you're not drinking, doesn't mean that you aren't going to be taken or people don't try to snatch you. And so it's like, I'm like, I'd rather just, even if it seems safe, that you just not go by yourself.
Well, I'll have to say one of the safest places that I ever traveled, I think, is Taiwan. Just in general, like the way people are there, the way like just the culture and the community are. I don't speak Chinese. I know 2 words, right? And God forbid, maybe my phone is dead and I have lost my wallet, or I'm in the middle of the city and I have no idea where I am. It's still that cultural barrier, like it's not like I could just go up to somebody and be like, help. It's a lot of the places where I traveled were not so much like touristy areas. They were just, working class areas. And again, Curacao, same kind of situation, but Curacao like did feel unsafe. And when I was there, I was always with like a group of very large gentlemen. So hopefully they would be the decoy.
Her own bodyguard posse.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, beat them up. I'll run as fast as I can back to the ship.
But Douglas can't seem to escape suspicion. In an interview for Amy Bradley is Missing, his daughter, Amika, said that after he returned from the cruise, her mother found a bag of photographs of white women, which Douglas had brushed off. And according to Amika, Douglas gets angry anytime Amy is brought up.
I understand that her family is trying to find her all these years. And I'm in sympathy with that, but I had nothing to do with that.
Douglas continues to maintain his innocence. In the months and years following Amy's disappearance, multiple witnesses have come forward claiming to have seen her. The first reported sightings happened immediately after the ship docked in Curacao. When the Bradleys returned to the island to look for Amy the following month, Ron was approached by a taxi driver who said Amy had asked him where to find a phone.
He said, I never will forget her green eyes. And he said she was wearing a white top with jeans.
In August, Canadian tourist David Carmichael was on a diving trip in Porto Marie, Curacao,
when he claimed to have seen Amy with 2 men walking along the beach. When Amy tried to approach him, one of the men stopped her. Carmichael is convinced that the man was Alistair Douglas. Then, in January 1999, Bill Hefner, a Navy officer, stopped in a bar that doubled as a brothel. There, he was approached by a woman claiming to be Amy.
The girl leaned over and said, "My name is Amy Bradley, and I need your help."
According to Hefner, Amy said she owed the men she was with $200 and that she'd originally gone to shore to score drugs. He was skeptical, though, having, quote, heard all kinds of stories from working girls. Years later, in March 2005, Judy Maurer, another tourist, claims to have run into Amy in a public restroom in Barbados. Maurer says she was with men. After they left the restroom, Maurer tried to make small talk with Amy, but said she got in her face. When Maurer left, she saw the men surround Amy and walk her out. The FBI followed up on every tip, but largely due to them coming in long after the sightings actually occurred, nothing came of these investigations. Aside from the idea that Amy fell or was pushed overboard, there are a few other theories about what happened to her, and 2 of them are especially questionable. The first is that Amy, who was a trained lifeguard, had decided to jump from the ship and swim to shore.
From what I heard through the grapevine, she'd kind of bragged that she was a good swimmer. She was going to jump in the water and try to beat the ship ashore.
That idea was quickly dismissed. The second theory that the family has had to contend with is that Amy took her own life. That one is based on her sexuality. Amy had come out to her parents while she was in college, and according to one of Amy's exes, they weren't happy about it. Ron has expressed that while it wasn't what they would choose for her, it wasn't his life, while Iva was mostly worried that Amy would have difficulty because of the social climate in the 90s. Both of the Bradleys, though, have maintained that they loved their daughter deeply. Investigators did look into a potential suicide, and some of Amy's friends considered the theory as well. But prior to the cruise, Amy was building a life. She'd just gotten a new job, a new apartment, and a dog. Ultimately, those closest to her, along with the FBI agent who handled the case, don't believe Amy would have taken her own life.
That's my other thing,
One
too.
of the more plausible theories behind Amy's
is, we talk a lot about suicide just because of your past and stuff. Like, if you are ready to leave this world, that you're not going to get a puppy, right? Like,
well, I mean, things happen on, like, a lot of times when people take their life, it's usually right then, like, at that moment, like, but
no, but a lot of times you're making the plan and in your brain,
right?
So
you're putting your affairs in order.
Yeah, she was putting her future in order, right?
Yeah, plus, like, again, that doc, when they were first discussing the message in the bottle, I was like, oh shit, this is a big thing, because she sends this or gives this to a lover.
But then they reconcile.
Right, but they didn't tell you that right away. So, like, when it first happened, I said, oh, well, that sounds like a suicide note. Like, it's not just coming out and saying I'm gonna kill myself, but it's talking about, I need you to save me, yada yada yada. But then she says that they actually talked a few days after that was given to her. So
and they talked a lot too after
so that washes that. So yeah, but I mean, it doesn't mean that she didn't still have doubts, but if she's got all these things that she's planning for, then yeah, it's unlikely that she commits suicide.
What is the one thing, like, when you were feeling really ready to commit suicide, that your therapist said, like, take small things,
good things, and build on them.
Yeah. So it could be like, okay, this weekend I'm going to the movies and I'm looking forward to going to the movies. I would not expect a suicidal woman to, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm so attached to our pets, but, like, I would never leave my babies, like, and she was making amends, and, it's the 90s. So I do think that a lot of,
and that was the other thing too, because before they explained the 2 girls worked it out, Amy had like an affair basically, or cheated on her partner. So, like, she was dealing with guilt from that. And so it's like, oh, okay, so this makes some sense. But then again, they worked it out. So that kind of like squashes that out of there. Like there was no more issues with that letter.
Yeah, it's again, I 100% believe in that small time frame. Somebody got her off the boat and she ended up in one of like
and that's the thing that's the biggest question now, is because the parents and her brother, they all say that she wasn't really the type to use drugs. So then the idea that she would get off the boat to go score drugs is plausible, but not something that you would sit there and say, if they never seen her do anything or do anything like that, then why would she do that? So it's either she did that, ran to the wrong people, or something more with Yellow, where he might have like smuggled her out or helped smuggle her out of that boat the day of, like when they were looking for her. So it's really kind of weird because obviously you have these pictures and stuff that show up later, and then the sightings and everything. It's like,
well, the picture thing is what really makes me think that she maybe not initially was at Campo, but ended up at Campo, because Campo, they were big on putting their girls on their website.
Yeah.
And it is completely legal. It's in Curacao. That's what they do. This is Amy. This is Ginger. This is, Sally or whatever. And, that picture looked like Amy, and it was on the brothel's website. But then again, other people are like, well, they showed you edited pictures on Netflix, and she had that Tasmanian devil on her shoulder, and that picture did not show the Tasmanian devil on the shoulder. And I'm like, okay, there's just so many things. But again, even back then there was Photoshop. And tattoos on women was not an attractive thing. So they could have Photoshopped the tattoo out.
Yeah.
Disappearance is that she was trafficked and sold into sexual slavery. In September 2005, the Bradleys received an email with a link to photographs from an adult website advertising escort services. The woman in the photos bore a striking resemblance to Amy, but because she had been missing for so many years at this point, the family couldn't be sure what she looked like. The FBI had photos forensically analyzed, and their expert believes that the person in the photo is, in fact, Amy. Unfortunately, they ran into an issue with the images.
The difficult part is, back then, information such as that or pictures such as that, you cannot tell when they're altered.
A 2025 Reddit post on the Amy Lynn Bradley subreddit dug further into the photos and found a link to additional images of the same woman, taken from different angles. In the new images posted, tattoos that Amy was known to have had, which weren't visible in the initial photos sent to the Bradleys, are missing altogether. While it's possible the images were altered or mirrored to hide them, there's no way to truly know for sure. In 2014, online investigator Anthony Willis became interested in Amy's case. He noticed that information regarding her disappearance was spread out over different forums and websites, and decided to create a centralized source for information. In 2018, he launched amybradleyismissing.com.
It has photographs, sightings, a lot of archived links, all of the tips, leads, different theories.
Once the site was up and running, the Bradley family took notice, and Iva struck up a friendship of sorts with Willis. She actually got David Carmichael, the diver who claimed to have seen Amy in Porto Marie, involved in the site, as he had a background in telecommunications. Carmichael suggested mining the website for IP data, and when they did, they discovered that many of the hits were coming from Bridgetown, Barbados, the last place Amy had presumably been seen. From there, the three began to update the site with family photos, and they noticed a strange pattern. IPs in Curacao and Barbados were spending a significant amount of time on the site on holidays and Bradley family birthdays. So who's visiting the site? Carmichael has a theory that it's either the people responsible for Amy's disappearance keeping tabs on the investigation, or it's Amy herself. We might never find out who it really is, though. The legal process to get international subscriber information makes it nearly impossible for the FBI to track down specific names.
As of August 2025, the Bradley family continues to hold out hope of finding Amy, and they're going about it the way anyone would in the social media age, by reaching out to Kim Kardashian. After watching Amy Bradley is missing, Kardashian posted a photo to her social media and included a comment about how crazy Amy's story is. TMZ got a hold of a DM Brad sent to Kardashian, in which he asked for her help, along with that of a couple other high-profile people. He wrote in part, "We are seeking any additional help and resources to find her. We also need help getting this in front of President Trump, because we feel like he could make a difference. We are also hoping to get Rihanna involved since she is from Barbados." Brad also brought up his disappointment in how Amy's case has been handled, writing, "The FBI agents in charge of Amy's case dropped the ball from day one and have been sitting on their hands for years and years." Brad told TMZ that the—
I'll be right back. Pause.
That's all right. We're about done here.
No, I have some stuff. I have something interesting about this case.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay. That's most of the video, though, so it's pretty much done. See, you can't do shows with women, man. This is, I got to get her a bedpan or something. Yeah, so again, just, her case is very interesting. I don't think it's going to be the captors keeping track on that website because, one, we don't really know how much personal information they know about Amy or any girl that they traffic. So I don't think it's something captors really worry about or care about per se. So if Amy is out there, it's possible she does visit just to kind of like check in on her family and see how they're doing, even though she knows that she can't be there. She's not trying to escape or not telling people how to escape or whatever. Maybe she's just trapped there because, like I said, if she has kids of her own through these interactions with customers, which could happen, especially in those type of environments, she may be just doing things to protect her kids while, visiting these sites to check on her family back home just to make sure they're okay or any updates to how their life's going. But that might be the reason why she's not really reaching out either.
So the theory about her being in sex slavery or being indebted to some kind of pimp is the one that I do truly believe, just because I know the history of those islands and stuff. But what I found very interesting in that was not put in the Netflix documentary was there was someone who came forward with a verified sighting of Amy and scammed the family out of $200,000. And I do not know exactly what happened to this person, but there was a man who said he was a former U.S. Navy SEAL. He said his name was Jones. Hold on. And he had access to the military. He said he had the family convinced that he was putting in a hit to retrieve her. He told the family to stay by the phone, that he was going to, he said that they had spotted her many times. They were going to enter a house she knew she was in, and a member of his team would be updating Amy's family. He sent several doctored photos that he claimed was Amy, and went as far as to tell them that the operation was in process to bring her home. And I don't know why they took this out of the documentary, but it's just
might be caught up in legal channels.
And the family at the time, when they found out that he was a scammer, they didn't want to they didn't want to, because it's their kid, but Jones scammed them out of $24,000 of personal savings and $186,000 of a nonprofit that was set up by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And eventually, he was convicted of 5 years in prison for impersonating military.
So they did catch him.
They did catch him up. So
maybe they just felt like it in the doc it would have been kind of a waste of time because it was just bullshit. But and it shows you the cruelty of people to try to take advantage of people like that.
Yeah, and this is really sad. Like, we were actually, this is a quote from the family, we were actually in a hotel room down in Fort Lauderdale, and we had a private jet on standby because he was down in the islands with his team of operators. He claimed they knew where Amy was. They were tracking the people that were in control of her. They went as far as to stencil tattoos on a woman and send pictures of her sitting on the beach.
Jesus.
So, and then I wonder, who is this poor woman that they're...
Yeah, it could have been someone working with them. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So, my final thoughts, honestly, sailing is the wild, wild west. The cruise director, the captain, they really don't have a lot of legal discourse when they're in other countries. And they even brought this up on the Netflix documentary. You're sailing, you're not in America. You don't realize that because you're leaving America. You're leaving from wherever. You're leaving from Fort Lauderdale. You're leaving from Baltimore. You're leaving wherever you're leaving, but you're not in America anymore. So when the ship hits whatever port, you are in that jurisdiction, and that's why it gets really sticky. People are criticizing the captain, they're criticizing the crew, or they're criticizing the actual, ship. Norwegian Cruise Line saying they didn't do enough.
I still think it's just because you have so many families, and imagine how many times kids get lost on a fucking ship, and they end up finding them by the pool or find them in some sort of arcade.
Well, that's part of it, is that it had only been 2 hours, right?
Right.
So that ship is so large that you need 800 crew.
Yep. Yeah. So it's tricky, but it is either one or two things. There is still a part of me that thinks it could be suicide, even though that's the least likely.
I 100% believe she was pulled into prostitution.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, because it just too many sightings, and then the idea that whenever there's birthdays and holidays with the family, like I was saying before you came back, I don't think the captors really care about birthdays. They don't care about personal information. Once they have you, they're just gonna ring you up like a piece of meat to anybody that's.
And she's not. They're not capturing her in a way where they want to kill her. They're using her.
Yeah.
So she isn't in the type of immediate danger where I have your daughter, pay me $1 million, because she is a cash cow.
Yeah, they got their own system there. They don't care about extortion. They don't care about ransoms. They just do their own shit.
She is there to make money, and
they know these are shady parts of those countries, so no one's going to come looking for them.
And it's hard to, because a lot of the, there is police, but a lot of it is ran by, kind of like a mafia.
Corruption and stuff. So, yeah.
So I truly do believe that. I believe I believe Yellow is involved in human trafficking. I really do.
He may not be now. He might have been scared stiff when they went.
But he had been working on those cruise lines for a long time, and there is probably somebody who was helping him out.
And I do think that those pictures were basically research, trying to see who they would pick out. So, because you remember in the doc, Ida and her son went to go pick up the pictures from the cruise ship that they were taking during the day or night or whatever it was.
And the pictures were missing.
And her picture was missing. So definitely there was some recon and research being done. Yep. Anyway, as for the channel, tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern, I'll be joining Kevin Lambert on Entertainment Headquarters as we do franchise review of the Lethal Weapon movies. And then later in the evening for Silver Screen Savants with Olvin at 8 o'clock Eastern, be me, Olvin, and Mr. Tony the Dad, I believe, going to be reviewing the movie Jeepers Creepers from 2001. And
maybe I'll jump on too, but I have a luau to go to in the afternoon.
She's going to a luau.
But maybe I'll jump on for
which I think the skirts came in, or
are they at my mom's house?
Yeah.
She's very excited to go to
I
her.
told her she better start feeling better because otherwise she can't go.
I called her today.
She's like, I'm feeling better already. Anywho, please like and subscribe. Give us your thoughts on both our topics today. Let us know how you feel about it.
If you think we're ridiculous, tell us we're ridiculous. We want to hear it.
Yeah, we won't care, but we'd like to hear it anyway.
We want a little discourse, and Anubis was very spicy about Sydney Sweeney. So.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't mind if you want to push back. I mean, that's fine. Just be civil.
I want to push back on you.
Fuck off.
In bed.
Fuck off. All right, we'll see you next time. The Metal Terminator Podcast. Tally ho.